Do you ever feel like your Facebook ads are just random? That you're just throwing money at Meta over and over again and you're just pretty much guessing your way through it? Well, yeah, we've been there too, and guess what? It doesn't work. But then we figured out the problem that there was no clear testing structure. And most brands fail on Facebook ads because they have no clear structure for testing their ads. They just launch a bunch of ads, check back in a few days, and hope that they find a winner. But hope isn't really a strategy. In this video, I'm going to break down the systems that we use in 2025 and the ones that give repeatable, scalable results. And whether you're just starting out or trying to fix underperforming ads, this is how you test Facebook ads the right way. So, Facebook testing structure, a simplified guide. Now, the goals of this are obviously to find winning concepts that scale. So beforehand, what you might have is this scattered approach, not kind of like too sure what works or what doesn't work, or just lumping all your ads into a single ad set or into multiple campaigns. The point of this is to be able to figure out which concepts actually work for you and which ones you can put more money behind and iterate from that for your future creative development. The next one is to drive down that CPA or bring that return on ad spend up depending on what your own North Star metrics are. The next one then is actually acquiring new customers. You really want this ad spend to be focused on getting new people into your funnel and then converting them into paying customers. There shouldn't be too much money going towards retaining customers. That should be more on email, and with a great product experience, people should naturally come back to repurchase as well. Now, when you're running offers, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you can absolutely spend money to bring previous customers back, but in general, we want Facebook to be working on acquiring new customers for us just because it's expensive to acquire these customers. Next is test with clear feedback so we can say, right, this concept works, this concept doesn't, let's iterate from here and have a strategy for growth. Having an idea of what kind of content you want to create, what actually works, and what will allow you to put more spend into the ad account confidently. So the next bit from here is the common mistakes, and one of the first ones that I see so often is not researching your audience first before you start conceptualizing your creative ideas. Now, what you should be doing is combing through your reviews, talking to your customers, even looking at competitors' negative reviews to see if there's an angle there that you could use. But you really want to understand what emotions your customers buy with, and really what those core frustrations, motivations, and desires that make them tick and make them want to part with their money so you can sculpt creative around that concept. The next one is the creatives all just look too similar. Now, when you're testing ads, you want to be making these big swings and having creative concepts that have a high level of variation to them so you can see what type of content works versus what type of content doesn't work. And if they all look the same, then you're probably going to end up getting the same results. You just want to make sure that your ads look and feel different to each other while still communicating those core messages so you can understand what works and what doesn't work. Next is having no understanding of the market awareness level. Now, if you're constantly pushing promotions and sales, you're probably hitting the bottom of funnel market who already have some sort of awareness to what your brand is. Where if you really want to scale your ad account, you have to be making creatives that speak to a much larger portion of the market. Think of people who might already have a problem but aren't too sure of a solution. Or people that do have a problem, they have an idea of the solution but they're really not sure what product to go for. Or even people who have no awareness of the problems that exist in their life. That content should then be trying to call out that problem and then move your product in as a solution. And then you have to differentiate yourself why you're better than other competitors. But the brands that make creatives that don't speak to a specific awareness level, they're either boxing themselves in too low down the funnel, or the message is so unclear that it doesn't really fit anywhere within the funnel itself. The next bit then is just an unclear testing structure. So similar to what I mentioned just a second ago, you really want to have a clear structure so you can see what works, what doesn't, and then you can iterate from that. And the last one, just forcing targeting too much. Facebook has made it so clear over the last year or two that interest targeting and getting too specific with your audiences is not where their platform is going. That's why even a lot of their communications recently have been much more strongly towards their advanced shopping campaigns, and that these more traditional campaigns are going to be phased out over time. So the way to get around this is to really use the creative and copy and also the existing data within your ad account to do the targeting for you. So when you are developing ads, and this is super oversimplified, but you want to base your concepts off of an idea, so off of either a human desire or an emotion that you want to draw out of, or even trends that you notice within your own reviews. And once you have a concept, then you develop ads based off that concept. So just an example here is, let's say that the human desire is acceptance, then the concept might be based more around confidence, and you might develop 3 ads that specifically talk about confidence as what the product delivers. I was speaking with a skincare brand recently, and they were talking about how they did a survey with their customers, and something like 90% of them said that their skin felt glowing after using the product. And the brand was confused on how to take this information and move it towards creative development. And I was saying you have to go just a little step further on, okay, it makes their skin feel glowing. What does that actually say? It says that they are feeling more confident. So that is the emotion that you can then start using for concepts. So in this case, the human desire or emotion would be more around acceptance, and the actual concept might be more around confidence or feeling more confident going out in public or within your social circles. And then you create ads based off this concept, and you repeat this for each different concept and see what might work. Similarly, it might be that it helps improve someone's acne, but it's not so much the reduction of acne that people want. That's kind of like the feature of what the product delivers, but it's really the confidence. It's the confidence to go outside without makeup. That's really what people want. Instead of just reduction of acne, they want to feel that confidence. That's where these concepts of ads come from. But let's go through to testing them. So this is just an idea of what a testing structure might look like. You'd have a testing campaign, and each ad set should be its own concept, so we can clearly look at the ad account and see which concepts are working, which ones are getting spent, and which aren't. And then within these ad sets, you'd have your 3 to 5 ads that you might test. And one way that you can scale from here is just taking the winning ads from all these different ad sets and then putting it into a scaling campaign and pushing more spend behind. Now, in terms of testing these ads, we can either go CBO or ABO. So a CBO is where Facebook decides to distribute the spend for you, and it's essentially when you trust Facebook on what to push. Now, Facebook's algorithm is highly sophisticated, and Facebook's goal is to keep people entertained and on the platform. So it's going to push content to people that it thinks will do well, or that it thinks is relevant to their audience. So if you set up a CBO with 10 ad sets and only 3 of them get spend and the other 7 don't, you might think, well, I haven't tested the other concepts and maybe I want to force money behind it. But really what that CBO is saying is these 3 ad sets are what are relevant. This is what's good enough to deliver to the audience, and the other ones aren't good enough. Now what we found is this is better for lower spending accounts who don't have a huge amount of testing budget to test through hundreds or thousands of dollars through individual ad sets. Now each time you bring an ad set into your CBO, you're essentially trying to beat what's existing and winning in the ad set, essentially trying to draw more of the budget away from the winning ad set into this one. And the beauty of doing this is that you're constantly just trying to level up your ad account. An example might be maybe the existing best performer is getting a $50 CPA, but then this new concept that you introduce is now getting a $40 CPA. And now what's happened is you've moved your ad account from a $50 CPA ad account down to a $40 CPA ad account. And now the new concepts that get introduced just have to be even better and try and beat that again. Now the difference with ABO, this is where you distribute the ad spend evenly, and this is done at the ad set level. So this is where you really get to decide what to push and how much money you want to spend testing on different concepts. And if you do find what's working, you get to inflate the spend on specific ad sets, or deflate the spend, or just turn the ad set off if it's not working. And it gives you the opportunity to really test concepts evenly. So up here in the CBO, because Facebook gets to distribute spend, you're not going to have the same amount of spend going through each ad set, but with an ABO, you get to decide how evenly or how much spend goes through those individual ad sets. Now this can be good for early stage testing, and it can also be good for when brands have spent so much money on either creators or influencers or specific campaigns that they really want to put a good deal of money behind it just to test out a concept, or to test out maybe a new creator or a new content style. And each of these new concepts introduced, they're going to be judged individually on whether they beat or meet your expectations on your CPA or your return on ad spend goals. So just a CBO structure. So again, Facebook decides what it thinks will work best and allocate budget accordingly to ad sets, and this isn't distributed evenly. You set your budget at the campaign level, and the new ad sets that you introduce, These are going to be unique concepts, and there shouldn't be really an overlap in the concepts here. For example, if you're selling a shoe brand, one should focus on comfort and another one might focus on performance, but there shouldn't be much of an overlap in these. And the way you set them up, you can either do it traditionally, like setting 3 or 5 ads up as individual ads, or if you're specifically just looking to test the concept, you might set them up as a flexible ad, or previously known as dynamic ads. And when you're looking to scale here, what you can do is you can either just increase the spend on the CBO to keep everything nice and consolidated, or if you wanted to leave this purely for testing, you might bring the winning ads out and put it into their own scaling campaign. Now with ABO, you decide where you want to allocate the budget and essentially have control over this early stage testing. And again, spend is usually distributed pretty evenly here. But again, each ad set should be its own unique concept and there shouldn't be much overlap there. But the budget is set at the ad set level, but the ads are essentially set up the same. You can either do it with a flexible ad, or you can just set it up in the traditional manner where it's like 3 to 5 individual ads. So that's essentially how this testing structure works. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know how you're testing your ads in your Facebook ad account, and I'll see you in the next one.